time of the week. That usually means Rich was maybe there's some tension out there. This, of cource, is Phil Wallace, author, entrepreneur, mentor, you name it. Check him out, follow him on all the socials, and he can, help you out as well. Check out the playlists, the fam. There's a ton out there, and of course, he is representing the South, Crystal Lake South. That's it. Just a little shout out to the Gator Nation.
Yes, sir.
And of course, I'm Kent, and I own the station. There you go.
Right.
I own
Boss.
the airwaves.
Mic drop.
That's it. All right. So here's the deal, folks, and right now the biggest piece of tension that's out there is the ugliness, the stupidity. The worst school shooting, second worst in United States history, by some jackass kid. And it infuriates me because I don't understand how a person can just run into an elementary school full of babies. Fourth graders, I'm still saying they're babies, right. People.
They are.
And lock himself in a room and yell, "You're all going to die," and just open fire on a classroom full of unarmed, innocent kids and a teacher. A lot has come out since that day on the event. I don't know how you say Uvalde I don't know how they say that little town just the other side of San Antonio, I think, right? And a lot of information has come out. The shooter, an 18-year-old kid, went and purchased a F-350 or something, F-250, big old truck. Also went and purchased two semi-automatic weapons, cash, $3,700 worth of stuff there, just in that, and flak jackets and whatnot. And it is our constitutional right to be able to have that, but it didn't raise an eyebrow by anybody. Like, huh?
You're getting two at once.
What are you doing? What do you got planned? And a flak jacket, right?
Kid, right?
Just 18-year-old kid. That's it. Turn 18. Thought I'd buy a gun.
And gloves. Huh. That's,
just crazy.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
So this psychopath runs out there and just goes on a murdering spree. Some things have come about that, and well, let's back up. On the heels of what happened in Buffalo, a week or two in between, this one doesn't seem to be most racially motivated like the other one did. Right. Right. It's just gross. It's just sickening. And this young man shoots his grandmother in the face. Now we'll go back to Texas. Shoots his grandmother in the face. Grandma's still alive. She didn't die. Yeah. Okay. Shoots grandma in the face. And then takes off running and is being chased, from what I understand, what I've read, being chased by the police. And they chase him for a while. He rips into the elementary school, goes running into the elementary school and jumps into a classroom, locks the door. Now, these doors, because of shooting, mass shootings, things like that, the teachers have the ability to lock the door from the inside now. To help try to prevent that. A week prior, the police there were doing live shooter drills, like tornado drills when we were a kid, right? And so the kids the teacher's like, we're on severe lockdown, and the kids knew what to do, but this kid jumped into the room before they had a chance to close it and lock it, and then he just opened up fire. He didn't kill everybody in the room. I was just reading an article by a little guy, 10-year-old kid, who said, I played dead, so he wouldn't shoot me.
Girl who grabbed blood and
All right. So first of all, let's get them the best psychological help they're going to need, because what?
Right.
What?
Yeah, that kid has to
For the rest of your
focus in
life.
school.
Come on.
That kid has to focus in school after having to rub blood, pretend to be dead, lay still, and then go back to that same school next year.
Yeah. No, it's terrible, right? The frustration that I have, Phil, is that it became an issue of the Second Amendment and gun laws. Not once did we just shut up as a nation and just go, this is really fucked up.
Right.
We jumped out there. President of the United States jumped out there. When are we going to get a backbone? We got to do laws. It don't matter. Bad people break laws. It's not about gun control. It's not about that. There's so many other things that could have prevented this and can prevent it. Right? What's your take on it?
I think like the feedback that I heard, right, was it also came off the back of the Roe v. Wade.
Oh, yeah.
So that was another part where it was like it's easier for a person to get a gun than have an abortion. So you're having where that is kind of, if we're going to control these laws, why can't we control these laws?
Thanks,
why aren't we as passionate about these laws as we are about these laws?
Yeah.
Why I can't control life in my body, but I can do this. It's going to take a life of someone else's. So I think, I don't want to say timing is poor because that just belittles the situation, but I think that's still where emotions are high from that. And you can't necessarily take away from that. Because
Well,
if I'm going to sit here and let you make laws over my body, but I watch you quiet about this, that's going to poke the bear on that.
well, but I want people to understand. I want people to understand.
Mental health is key.
Yeah, mental health is the key. I want everybody to understand that firearms, 98%, 99% of the people who own and purchase firearms do not do it to go on a mass shooting spree. Firearms are not supposed to. Your main purpose is as a shield,
right,
or protection.
right.
And most people who own firearms, you only fire them at the range, right? The interesting thing is with what you're saying is the Second Amendment says, yep, I have the right to own one.
Right.
But I'd have to read the Constitution to see what it would say, what my right is for
Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade.
Right.
Now, to me, the interesting thing is the timing. The timing of everything is bizarre to me.
Right.
And I have to tell you that, and I'm going to stick my neck out there right now because this is on the air. This is my point of view, my opinion. I have to tell you that the reason these things are happening is because of selfish people who we have, quote unquote, voted into office, and their greed. Again, we will go back to Asian hate. How quickly did that move?
It's impressive.
In a blink of an eye. I mean, it was like Superman getting into the phone booth.
Huh?
Right? Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
Quick. If we wanted it, we can move quick.
I didn't even hear be patient once.
Hey, Sal, how are you, buddy?
Take time.
And-
Singapore, what's going on, brother?
No, I'm telling you, that is the absolute truth, right?
Right.
Is this is we've been fighting over this crap, but the truth of the matter is, if there wasn't huge money, huge lobbyists, huge, I'm gonna make you rich, Phil. You just keep that, keep voting that way. Listen, here in America, it's funny. If we want something done, we get it done quick. Oh, we can send 800 billion cajillion dollars to a foreign country
Right.
for help, but we can't pass this.
Wasn't it 8 billion? 8 billion?
I don't know, 800
Yeah.
million. I don't know
Something
what it
like
was.
that.
There's a
It was
lot of
impressive.
money.
Right.
And that is
Related.
and that is where I get frustrated. It's like this isn't an argument. This is all about money. This is all about greed. This is all about these lives are collateral.
So then that's what another point that was brought up was like a lot of the politicians who make it are always backed, or they said a lot of them are backed by the NRA.
Yeah.
So then when we're sitting on our side wondering why they're hesitant to go against making laws that would, gun control laws and things like that, are you going to go against your biggest sponsor? To bring back to your point, are you going to go against where the money's coming from? No. Hey, listen, we'll give you X amount of zeros behind this comma, but you don't touch this law.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't touch this law, do whatever you want, say whatever you want, you'll always be funded. But this makes us too much money, so we're not going to touch that.
Yeah. Hey, Lobos. Boy, it's the summer for Salvadors.
All asset. Well, but man.
Yeah. So
Swami Samsonite was way off.
So the deal is this is we either move as a society for things that will give us personal gain, or we don't move because it gives us personal gain.
Right.
And at some point, the American people, as a people, have to rise up and say, okay, time out. Flag on the play. This has got to change.
Right.
However, when we do get something that, or someone in there that wants to make change, they get it. They see they accidentally slip on a rock and get a bullet to the back of the head. I mean, they accidentally fall down the flight of stairs, or they might have some Kool-Aid.
Self-hurt themselves.
Yeah.
That's like what I sent you
Yes.
on Facebook.
Yes, the water engine guy.
The water engineer, the officer that was shot in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Created cars that run on water versus gas, and the guy before him.
Yeah, no, I'm fired up, Scott. I listen. There have been other shootings,
right?
And I don't know if it's because of the point I am in my life. And I understand. I'm going to go to Columbine. I'm not trying to justify anything. Here's the deal. The deal is this: we've all been bullied. Columbine kids went in and shot bullies, or shot. They went to the source.
Right.
There's an 18-year-old kid. That's like me just going on the playground in an elementary school and just start punching kids in the face. Why? Well, I was angry.
Right.
Well, these are little 4-year-olds. Why are you punching? You're a grown man, 18 years old. Why are you punching kids? You don't do that. And then I'm enraged with the response that we give and that we politicize it. At no point do we just go, you know what? This fucking sucks. And I don't even know what to say.
Right.
To 19 families. I don't. I mean, the first thing that comes out of our mouth is political BS, and we've got to pass laws and do this. Well, guess what? One party controls everything.
Right.
And again, we'll go back to Asian hate. If you want it, it moves quickly.
It moves very quickly.
Very quickly. So America, there you have to be willing to say something's effed up here.
Right. But okay, so do you think that it goes into being political just because that's been the reflex, that's been the default setting? So if I say injustice is happening here, and I'm a far leftist or I'm a far rightist because I'm a Democrat, whatever the case
Right,
may
whatever.
be. And so as soon as I say this situation's happening to minorities, the response for a long time is simply it's because I'm a Democrat, it's because I'm this, whatever, and it's always political versus right and wrong. Now we have this situation, and we're still not in a position because what we're programmed for, what's comfortable with us, is saying that it's politicized. Well, this is an extreme of these guys and blah blah blah. Blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when do we cut that out?
Yeah.
Because like I'm with you, but I'll just be honest with you. There's a part of me that's like, well, this is just how we respond.
Right.
It's perfectly okay to politicize it if it's minorities, but now that if it's guns, that hurts you.
Right.
And then the other part is, when are we going to rise up as a country? You told me to shut up a month ago.
Well, I didn't.
Well, right here.
Yeah, just,
but
yeah.
but now that you need my voice to push this,
No, I get it. I'm absolutely 100.
now we need to stand side by side.
There's always a tipping point, right?
Right.
There's always a tipping point. Hold on, let's see what Sal says here. I just think eventually in America, it's going to get to a point where as a nation, we say enough is enough and it's time for a change. Yes. However, yes, but, right?
Right. Yeah,
yes, but. Yeah, but. No, I get that. I 100% get that. And we'll go to that point. 2 weeks ago, I want America to be an America where Black people aren't afraid to go to the grocery store. Okay.
Right.
I think we all do. Way to go, President. Right? When are we going to get a backbone? All right. So let's unpack this a little bit. We say guns are bad. However, the man who shot this kid is a hero. He didn't shoot him with a pea shooter. He shot. Right. He didn't hit him with a lawn dart. He shot him. So now, this hero, the gun is not bad. You see what I'm saying? So in this whole story, gun bad. Oh, but good gun over here. Because it was in the hands of a guy who got his kids out first. Never mind.
That's a whole different.
Never mind. Serve and protect as long as it's mine first. Anyway, get rid of the PACs. Oh, that could be. That's where all the money's at. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. The PAC money is trust me. I'm part of an organization that has a PAC, right? And it's very interesting. It's very interesting to watch and see. And yes, that's why I say you have to follow the money. You have to watch where it's coming from, right?
And that's where we're having a conversation with is how much money is created from arms and ammunition.
We could Google it. I'm not sure.
But I'm
probably
saying,
a ton, right?
Probably a couple billion. But so the likelihood of that stopping,
right?
And then the other companies or organizations who profit from like Walmart, which is one of the largest profiters from the distribution of ammunition, they're not going to go with. So now it's not just this company; it's another gigantic, huge company, and this other huge. You have to follow the money.
Well, you have to follow the money. But let's do this too. Let's take a step back and let me perhaps start to irritate people. Magda, good morning. Politicians are calling for gun control. It doesn't work. Just look at Chicago. Of course. How about armed security in school? Single point of entry, train and armed teachers. Sure, let's just make it a prison. Let's lock them down.
I was wondering when we were going to hear Chicago, even though it's Texas. But.
All right. So let's let's unpack this for a minute. For all my constitutionalists out there, the Second Amendment, right? To the right to bear arms, to form a militia or something, right? I can't quote it, but it says you have the right to own a firearm.
Right.
Okay. That was designed and written because when it was written, the government in Europe and whatnot tended to be strong arm and would come in with guns and the army and whatnot and
Right.
force the people to make decisions.
Right. Of course.
We come here to America and we say, nope, if I've got a gun, I can fight. I can pick up my gun and fight for my right in my state is really what that's designed for. Stay with me for a second. Let's be honest at this point in our life. With the technology that's out there from our government, is your Glock 9, is your 12 gauge going to stop a drone from taking your house out? Because, folks, that's what the government's going to do. You don't, when it was muzzleloader against muzzleloader and a knife at the end of my gun,
musket versus musket,
right? We had a fighting chance.
Right.
Let's be honest. We don't now. If the United States Army wanted to turn on its people, it could in a real hurry. And your Glock 9 is not going to not going to prevent that.
Old Betsy ain't gonna be what she used to be.
Right? Your Glock 9, it's just not.
Right.
So the fight saying, hey, I have the right to bear arms, that way if the government ain't going to do it that way, folks. The government don't do it that way in different lands. Here's what's happening. Look at me. Bobby's over here like this. He got his glasses, he's pushing it up, and he's got his laptop, and he's flying a drone somewhere in the Middle East, dropping bombs on people, typing.
With amazing accuracy.
With amazing accuracy. Right? It just, yes, it is your constitutional right. I'm not taking that away. But if you're going to live and die on the Hill, that's my constitutional right, so that the government doesn't take over. Please, people, you got to understand. Yeah, your firepower, your M80s, your little 22 pistol, pew pew. It ain't going to stop. It ain't going to stop the wrath that'll come down, right? What do we got here? And. It doesn't matter, right? Magda says, how about armed security in schools? Let me tell you something. I have heard it. Hey, give the teachers guns. Listen, from one kid who was a smart ass and a pain in the ass to a lot of teachers, known as me, the last thing I ever would want is any of my teachers from the past say, hey, Kent, I need to see you after class. And then I come in and say, yeah, Mr. Wallace. And you open your drawer and you set your gun down. Listen, you little smart fuck. You're going to start towing the line. You see this right here?
Right.
I would hate for this to accidentally go off. Trust me. The last thing I want is a teacher with a gun.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation we had, I think it was last week, about like some of the ones that were posting in these comment sections and then finding out to be I don't know if I want to give people for that.
No, goodness no. All right. Sal says, Sal Villalobos, the politicians of the 80s and 90s that denounced global warming are now saying that they really didn't understand the subject. They were being wined and dined and were given reports to regurgitate. Well, global warming, let's be honest, isn't a thing. It's all false. It's make believe, and it is what it is. Because it's literally 52 degrees at the end of May here.
I wore a hoodie.
It's very cold.
So
it's very cold. Very cold.
Hope.
Instead of sending $40 billion to Ukraine, spend that money. Here is the way to protect our kids is to invest more money into psychological. Listen, get more therapists. Back in the 80s, if I was bullied, me and you fist fought until we became friends, or I respected you enough to stay on the other side of the hallway.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Oh, and by the way, I grew up in Iowa. Guess what was hanging in the rear in the back window of every pickup truck?
Shotgun.
Shotguns in the school parking lot. And at no time ever did anybody go, "Hey, I think I'm going to take that in and start shooting people." Oh, we took them into school for show and tell. Hey, look, I got a new 12 gauge. You know? Yes.
What in the Beverly Hillbillies?
Right. Right. So now we create such a victim out of the kid being bullied,
Right.
and it's human nature to want revenge. But we tamp it down, we tamp it down, we tamp it down. We don't let you go punch the kid in the nose. We make you uh, just keep shoving it down, suppressing until perhaps you snap. And then what happens?
See?
Yeah.
You're making it easy for me. Okay.
Yeah, go.
So what you just said we victimize the one who was bullied because it's human nature that anytime you get picked on and picked on and picked on, you eventually snap. Now, if there's ever another riot, just understand.
No, I get it.
Keep that same energy.
I listen, but and we can go back and listen to all the shows.
You got it. I'm saying that
Right.
it's not you, but
Right.
there's people who just agreed with what you said. Well, yeah, of course, if you pick on someone long enough,
I
eventually
get
they're
it.
going to want to stand up for something. They're going to punch someone right in the nose.
I get it.
And at Woodstock, that's fine. But if you do it in the streets and you yell, then it's. I'm just saying.
It's just a point. It's just a point, right? It's just a point. Alex, good morning. Alex says, "Oh, hey, anyone know the race of the person who shot up this school? Typically, it's a young white male. I honestly haven't been paying attention and just woke up and my Google machine isn't working. So well, let's hold the phone right there. Yes, Ramos was his last name or something like that, right? I don't know. He was Latino. However, I'm in, and Sal Villalobos will back me on this. If he was filling out a mortgage application, it may say Hispanic, white.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How do I get in on this?
Oh yeah.
Black, white.
Yeah. Pacific Islander, so yes, he may have been Latino descent, but he's also white.
I didn't know this was an option.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love Asiago bagels. I want to.
Phil, your tattoo is showing and it's sexy.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you.
The one on the small of his back? Wait a minute. No, what? Never mind.
Killer butterfly, though. You gotta admit.
A monarch. It's awesome.
A monarch.
He was Hispanic, but that doesn't matter.
To some people.
To some people it does.
Did you see how that got brought up, though?
Right.
And then it would get political as far as like, man, if we had tighter immigration.
Hey.
But Alex said most of the shooters aren't Hispanic, Latino descent. So where's that? Well, we got to have tighter laws from, in New York to get minority. Like,
yeah, and Alex going to agree with you. He says, not sorry about political. People want freedoms of their guns. There's choice, but are conveniently okay with individual freedoms of bodies and choices. We kind of hit that. Hey, Bree, how are you, sister? People barely trust teachers to teach their children, but trust with guns, make it make sense. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Listen, there's so many little dick holes. I was one of them. Man, right? I literally, that was my goal in life, was just to irritate my teachers. And I would trust me, I'd have been looking down the muzzle of several guns.
Say one more thing, bro.
That's right.
Rap for you.
Listen, Scott says these type of horrific acts always come back to a lack of support of mental health. Our government does not care about the mental health. I think they're trying to make us all zombie or drones with no say or input. No, I agree that if we want our kids to grow up in today's society, right? Here's the issue. The issue is, and I was talking with a clinical psychologist. And this clinical psychologist works with teens and preteens. And this clinical psychologist will always ask, well, what are your dreams? What do you want to do? 70 to 75% of these kids, preteens and teens, say, I want to be an influencer and make my money on YouTube.
Right.
I want to go viral. Here's an 18-year-old kid. Guess what he just did?
Viral.
He's not around to see it, but he went viral. How do I do that? Hey, if I'm a mass shooter, we're going to go viral. I'm going to make it big. My name will be known. I will be known all over the world. There's an issue there, right? With this, how we have glorified that business, right?
People just want to matter one way or the other.
That's it. Listen, there was a time in the 80s where we glorified what, Phil? The mafia. We made movies. We showed them as bad guys, but living the good life.
Good fellas, though.
Right? Yeah, Ray Liotta, rest your soul. Right? And here's the deal, right? We heard it. Crime doesn't pay, right? But that's why I get all my stuff comped. You know what I'm saying. Or I get reelected.
Anywho. He's good for it.
Anywho, all of these shootings and stuff in Chicago also fall into mental health. Those kids know no other way. Again, thanks for bringing up Chicago. The
shooting happened where?
Yeah, Texas. God bless Texas. All right. The U.S. government could easily take all 130,930 public schools, 2017 stats, and pay a military veteran or police $75,000 per year, be a security at each school or whatever going right way. That would cost American taxpayers that much money per year, as well as help unemployment. Okay, here's the deal. Every school in America now has an officer in it. They have a police officer. Or two, depending on the size of the school, or more. So here's what happened. The guy there couldn't get the doors locked in time. The shooter locks the door of the classroom, kills everybody in the classroom, right? And what he thought was, there were kids still alive, as we talked about earlier. You're 10 years old. I don't know how you figure out to be quiet and not cry. Right? You're 10 years old. The only thing I'd be doing is crying for my parents. Right? It's crazy. These little kids, it's just crazy to me how smart they were. It took them 91 minutes to get that door open. Nobody had a key. Couldn't find a key.
They got the key because they got their kids out.
Somebody got their kids out, and now let's understand that. You want to do another point of contention. It is now coming out that the police officers that were there were getting their children and the children they knew out of that school. They were not trying to eliminate the threat.
Right. As long as mine's out.
As long as mine is out.
If you could just hand me that curly-haired kid named Elijah, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
98 in Texas in April.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not in Texas. Obviously, Seattle. Let's talk about Chicago because that's what everybody wants. The weather in Chicago is really 98 in Texas. That's still pretty cold for this time of the year, and it's May. In April. I mean, it's literally May, isn't it? It's almost June. Where are you at? Quit smoking that stuff down there. In all my years of schooling, unless I elected to, I never was required to take a class to understand my brain. They do in high school. They'll have like an intro to psychology now or something like that. But it's not till high school. The point about the 80s and 90s politicians was the PACs control. Oh, absolutely. No, they do. And it's still, that's why we say follow the money. Follow that money. It's interesting because some news sources seem to have a darker version of pictures and some where his skin complexion is lighter. Yes. And that's, again, is what do we want to portray? Right? I mean, this is a kid whose friends were like, Yeah, he took a knife and was cutting his own face. Yeah, he was just he was
The Joker.
it was weird, right? Yeah, it was just he do crazy things. Race: Hispanic, Latino, and they want to further narrow it down to the country of origin. Yeah, he's from Colorado. I mean, I think he was in Colorado till he's like 10 and then moved to Texas. I, is Colorado a country now? I don't know. Here's the truth. NRA pays the bills for many politicians. Politicians spend 60% of their time each day fundraising. They won't stop that cash cow, but they all want those 30-second sound bites of thoughts and prayers.
Man.
And I love what Steve Kerr said. I mean, Steve was pissed too. Very, very upset. He's like, I'm done with it. I'm done with the lists. I'm done with the thoughts and prayers. Something has to change. I'm so tired of this. Something does have to change. And obviously, our great listeners are a little bit irritated with it as well. But that's what bridging civil tension is all about.
Right.
Get angry, get mad, talk this out, have the conversation. Right? I mean, you posted to our kids, it's not supposed to be like this. And I wanted to reply and go, that's a damn lie, because it is like this. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
You and I will say that it's not supposed to be like this. The truth of the matter is, that's reality now. As a kid, the biggest threat when I was in school was go out into the hallway and put a book over your head and neck for the tornado that could blow the roof off of the school. Oh, and then in this big brick building, if a fire were to break out, they would time us on how we get out of the school to this safe place.
Into the school bus.
And now on day one, it's like, hey, kids, this is your pencil. Here's your crayons. Active shooter. You know what I mean? Get down. Right? What? They ain't even worried about the damn tornado no more. They're like, hey, tornado comes, it's going to blow the roof off, kid. Just hang on to something heavy.
It's probably the least of your worries for me. You need to worry about Billy being upset with you. I'd probably hash that out immediately.
You don't even know Billy. Billy's at high school right now. Crazy. How much money are these TV channels making by hyping you up and rattling your cage? The more they do, the more you turn in. Well, let me tell you something from somebody in that industry. Not a whole hell of a lot. But just
yeah, thumbs up, likes and shares.
Yeah, send your money too. That's right. Bree says, I know he got there before doors were locked, but what's also interesting is how schools combat, quote, locked door, turn off lights. Young shooters know the drill. If anything, we need better ways to prepare if this does happen. Well, absolutely. But where do you stop it? Is it listen, for years and years and years, inner city schools have had metal detectors, chains on doors. You know what I'm saying? They've been going after it.
He makes a good point.
Let's leave gun control out of the conversation. In 30 years, we haven't developed protection in schools outside of a locked door. We've made fully automated vehicles in 30 years, but can't do more than lock and hide. I agree.
Kid's got a point.
I agree. Right? I totally agree. I will say we have mandatory social emotional learning activities, discussions. Yeah, I think we're starting to move that way, Bree. But again, we need more of it.
Right.
We need more therapists in the schools, and we need therapists that don't go, oh, well, here's a troubled kid. We need therapists to go, hey, Phil, why don't you come down? Hey, great game. How you feeling?
Yeah,
that's great. What's going on in your life? What's happening? Right? Because that's just not. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm so stressed out trying to get into D1, this, that, and the third. Oh, well, let me help you deal with that. Here's some ideas. Here's some exercises. Right.
Right.
Instead, we go back to our guidance counselor who doesn't know anything and tells you obviously the wrong things to go to school for.
Right.
And well, I'm a guidance counselor. What would you like to do?
What was it like when you were recruited guidance counselor? Oh, I wasn't.
Right.
Oh, got it.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Right.
Good plug for
Hey,
the
Mark,
fam, though.
what's happening? So the answer is, yeah, but then again, let's do this. Well, Phil, there's nothing wrong with my kids, and I heard that there was a therapist talking to my children without my consent
Right.
about what happened in my house. It's none of your damn business.
That's the head nod.
So now, guess what's going to happen? I'm taking this to the school board, and I'm going to sue the school board because you got no right to do that to my children. Are fine.
Sounds like an irate customer at a Home Depot.
Which, by the way, her children then grabs a gun, truck, and heads in. You know what I'm saying?
But okay, going back to what Coach said, the social emotional learning. You're a great teacher, and I feel like just knowing you as a person, you're more fair and balanced. But in situations like where I went to school, the person who was mediating that conversation, I don't know if he's gonna make it better. Right, because he's got his bias and his feelings, and he probably would have had the red hat and been at the rap. Anyway, so if I bring up just the feelings of it was shot down. So if you're trying to have that social,
snuff it out. Let's not air it out. Let's snuff it out like a cigarette butt.
Right.
Whoa! That could cause a forest fire. We're in the parking lot. I just stomp that down.
So you're only gonna be called victim so many times in that classroom for like that.
Yep.
All right, keep it to myself.
Well, why didn't you say anything? Well, how many times did I try?
Tried. Y'all weren't trying to hear when I was talking using words.
Yeah, Phil,
But
you just didn't try hard. You just didn't try hard enough, bud.
We'll use something else then.
Yeah, right. That's the way it is. Well, you should have spoke up earlier, Phil.
I want to start listening to people.
Yeah.
I try to tell you about emotions and how it feels to be a minority. Anyway.
Yeah, we homeschool our kids. I don't really hear about shootings in charter schools, homeschools, private schools. Yeah, that's messed up. The principal of your homeschool came in, started shooting up the family. Now, I don't want to say they're better, but there is a systemic difference between public schools and it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, you got defenseless or unarmed children, and if you want to go viral, you take them out.
Well, yeah, there's not as many shootings. I mean, we talked about the school
Yep.
in the area where the drugs are prevalent.
Yep, that's it. Dan, good morning, brother. Glad to have you with us. What's telling is his mom saying, "I never knew he felt this way. I think the issues were deeper than we know." Hey, Phil, we talk about this a lot. Do you think a lack of strong male leadership in certain households is a problem for young boys these days? Because mostly it's young boys.
Right. Absolutely. And they don't have anyone to talk to, going to kind of what Kent was talking about. And so if you're learning what's cool, what's acceptable, how to cope, especially in, our demographic where you're told just be tough, toughen up, you tough, right? And, men don't cry and all that other garbage, like, that's not how to cope. That's not a healthy way of coping with stress. And like to be able to articulate what you're going through, how you're feeling, how do you handle feeling this way, but still make correct choices or healthy choices.
Listen,
I don't think
Dan,
that.
This is what I will say. Males are idiots. Okay. This happens a lot with women and females as well. They just smarter. They get in there and fuck your whole life up for the rest of your life. They're like, I ain't going to end it today. You're only 10. But when you're 50, you're going to remember me. They ruin you. They get in there like an earworm, right? In a little brain worm. And women are smart that way. They ain't got to, right? And all of a sudden, you're sitting here at 50 years old going, damn, I got it now. That shit she said in the 5th grade, still messing me up today. Right? And dudes are idiots. Like, you're dumb, right?
But Dan, how many people though are developing themselves and working on themselves to handle one, the trauma, but two, put themselves in a position to mentor other people so that they don't have to go through it in the long term? Not just from like a therapeutic type of position where it's like, I want you to keep coming to me as a therapist so I can keep getting paid for it. But even if I don't have any financial benefit, I want you to be able to find the cure on your own so that you become healed. I don't think that's really prevalent, bro. And so that's why good people like you are needed.
And let's go into what we talked about 2 years ago, the system. And system. Hey, hard to have good male figures when they all wearing orange.
I'm telling you, helping on a project, and they're talking about there's no therapist in the hood. There's
Hard
no
to-
therapist in Monkey City, but like,
right?
so Billy can go talk to someone. Marcus is just angry.
Yeah.
He's just an angry kid. He's just a bad kid. He just everything.
Yeah.
Why? Could it be because this person just got shot in front of him, or this, or this?
Marcus, or Mr. Ramos,
Yeah,
not Jimmy.
right, Mark. Yeah. But if they don't have anyone to, or even just as far as like the guidance counselor situation, if I come to you even as Phil, but you think I'm just an angry black person, and we've heard nice person after nice person, despite seeing me and knowing me, still think that I'm an angry black person. Are you really going to give me your best if you already have your arms crossed with the assumption, look, you're pre-programmed to just be angry and black, black and angry.
Pull your pants up.
Well, his hat's blue. He must be a Crip. Like that, and that's all you
Wear
got.
It straight. Wear it straight. Yeah, right. Oh, hey, I noticed you're wearing that North Carolina hat a little crooked. Nobody ever comes up and says, I noticed you're wearing that cowboy hat a little crooked.
Yeah.
A little low. Right? Never mind. Anyway, Bree says, I agree. Even with our school counselor, I had a student who told me he was suicidal, and the counselor knew he was struggling and didn't touch base with him until I reached out to the principal. Listen, just here, just down in Aurora, I think it was, or Naperville, Downers Grove, one of those cities down there, a fifth grader asked the teacher, has anybody ever blew up this school? They're like, no. Well, I'm going to be the first. And this is a fifth grader saying this just yesterday. And then when a chair would move or somebody put down a chair, he'd go, bang, there it goes. There's one off. There's another one. And so the teacher was like, went and told the principal. They called the police. This little boy, fifth grade, was arrested. There was, right? Yeah. And I guarantee there's people, oh, you're going over the edge. Are you? You can't do that. And then he was released to his mother. Now, I heard that on the way into the studio. Right. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it.
Right.
But let's be honest. What?
Right.
Now, listen. If that was me, here's what I hear. Here comes the belt. My ass would have been 10, right? Absolutely. You can't take that. And for a counselor or anybody in the school to ignore that cry for help, wow.
But you have to know the demographic where she teaches.
Don't matter.
The demographic where she teaches, there's no hope for me. There's hope for you. So,
listen.
Should I try? Because chances are, if he survives, he'll just go sell drugs in Atlanta anyway. Yeah,
but then you're out there marching Roe v. Wade. Hey, my body, my choice, right? You're that person. But yeah, this life don't matter. What? How's that work? Help me out. Help me understand that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where it's how do we put a system in place, though, if the people who are in place will handle it like that?
That person needs to be slapped.
That's a major. It's not even that the kid had a bad day. This kid said he's suicidal. You didn't check in.
You should be fired. They want to go out, suicide, but they want to go out by people remembering them. So they shoot up something and people trying to figure out why they did this. And my internal belief is the way they want to go out is making as much damage to others as they are forced to remember them. Because in life, nobody heard them, saw them, understood them. We all, after the fact, talk about mental health, but literally nobody talks about mental health until something happens. No, that's absolutely right. It's a scary thing. And mental health in this country, we have institutions for people who are mental. So again, we go back to the system and what have we been designed to understand? There's something wrong with you.
Right.
I can tell you because my daughter is a psychologist no, we're all messed up. We're all messed up.
Right.
Some people just deal with it better than others. You'll hear an old guy like Scott. You'll hear an old guy like me. Anxiety. It didn't even exist when I was anxiety. Everybody has anxiety now, right? We used to just call it butterflies, right?
Right.
You'll hear that. You get that pushback. And guess what? Again, guess what? For those of you on the radio, I am almost 53 years old. I'm white. And I represent, and a male, I represent, and that train of thought, I represent the people you elect. I look more like the people you elect. And keep in mind, I would be a young one
Very,
at 53.
very young one. There's a meme that says the same age that we tell people they're no longer fit for the working world is unanimously the age of all the politicians.
It's so true. It's so they should be in Del Webb, right? They should be hanging out,
Shout out to Del Webb having Around the World with God in y'all's book club. I appreciate you.
right? I should be playing shuffleboard,
Good people in Huntley.
taking my little poodle on a walk in my jogging suit.
That was Black history.
But the honest to God truth is, right? The honest to God truth is that's the point of view. Oh, and by the way, I've got this account that money just goes into, and I've also had people come up to me about the gun issue and say, "Hey, isn't this Lucy getting out of school right at this time every day?"
You should probably change how you feel about that.
You might, yeah. You may just want to not show up for that vote, right? Don't think it don't happen.
Right.
I ain't stretching the truth on that, folks. Don't think it don't.
But so this is what I wanted to talk about today. Also,
Yeah.
we kind of alluded to it was the situations and the officers who stood outside.
Yeah.
Right. And it just ties into what you just said. That I didn't want to do it from the position of attacking the police officers based on well, why didn't you guys rush in? Like I thoroughly wanted to understand, okay, giving you the benefit of the doubt, since you didn't, why was that? And then we talked about how an officer most likely would not be able to come here and be honest about why. Right. And it's the blue code of silence and stuff like that. They're not allowed to speak on. And so the good officers have to protect the bad officers because of the code. Even though no snitching is bad when it's thugs.
There is no code, but anyway, yes.
Right. No snitching is bad when it's thugs, but it's okay when it's officers.
Yeah.
But the part that bothered me, kind of just going in that train of thought, was if a person were to speak out, because this a friend of mine on the military side had something similar. If a person were to speak out, that same behavior of we'll ruin this officer who spoke out against his brothers. We'll ruin him. We'll either fire him or make it miserable for him because he spoke out. He ratted on corrupt police officers. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't that blue life matter in that situation? Why are we cool with allowing someone's career to be ruined if they talk about the truth?
Right.
I don't understand that. Why is that? Hey, this is your kid.
Right. Now this town too is a town of 15,000 people. It's not a real big town, right?
Right.
So you got Barney Fife there.
But you have 80 police officers outside that building.
Yeah.
And even if
and nothing really happened until the Border Patrol people got there.
91 minutes, later or whatever.
Yeah.
But I there's some sort of SWAT or something that could.
By the way, 91 minutes is a period and a half for school. So
that's cool. All right, with passing period included.
That's right.
But I don't understand it from a non-officer perspective. But I feel that an untrained kid, 18-year-old, versus 80 trained.
Yeah.
Barney Fife or not, give my vote to the officers that we should be able to do something.
Yeah.
Or they should have a SWAT that come in, surround shields, whatever.
Right.
It work. I don't understand how the 90 minutes went by, but outside of that, still trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I don't like that a person doesn't feel comfortable saying, this is our standards, this is procedure, this is how we would handle it, without the fear of, if I do that and really try to defend the good blue, I'm either fired, my life is in danger, my kid's life is. I don't understand.
The coincidences seem to follow.
That follow that. I don't understand how we'll know that, but we're cool with it.
I don't either. And I don't. The toughest thing here in America is a majority. The silent majority,
right,
is what or the people of my voice doesn't matter, my voice doesn't matter. If the silent majority would stop being silent, I think you'd see change. I think, you know what I mean? I think you'd see it. Um, Alex says, "Here's the thing I heard this week. Maybe it's the movies he saw. Maybe it's the video games he played. Really? Maybe it's the fact that people were probably a piece of shit to him, and he didn't have an outlet to really express himself, or people listen to him. But yes, let's stop Grand Theft Auto video games. I don't think it was Grand Theft because he didn't run over any hookers. Had he done that, I would go with you. But, yes." Yes, 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 no, yes, no. Listen, you're absolutely right. You didn't have an outlet. There wasn't somebody there. It goes back to what Daniel was saying. Listen, in my girls will say I'm their hero, but I take time. Right. I spend time with them. I ask them how things are. I want to dig in. I want to know. Right. I do that with my son. My son's a grown ass man. I'm still asking him questions. Where you at? How do you feel? Right. These are the things that you don't. But here's the other thing: you don't have to be a parent to do that. You see a kid who's troubled, go talk to them.
But what if he's not my color?
Doesn't matter.
Then I'm afraid because Daniel's a big dude. Daniel's 6'6".
Doesn't matter.
It's a big black dude. What if I see him looking sad? Do I say hi? Do I whatever? Even though he's one of the nicest people in the world, you could change his life by spending some time with him.
You know what? Here's the deal. It's not one touch. Right? Hey, you okay? All right, keep walking. If I see you on a daily basis and you seem troubled, guess what? I'm going to keep bugging you. Hey, let's go get a coffee. Hey. Looks like you need a friend. Right?
Yeah. Sometimes you have to bug people till they respond to you.
Right.
They become one of your best friends.
And then I would play some Tupac and everything would be cool. Anyway.
Changes. That is cool.
Should there be age limit for social media? As you read more into his life, a lot of was being made fun of because pictures he took on social media. Here's the deal. We know social media's algorithm is to create fear and hate and do that. They know that's why it's changing from what it is to metaverse. Because the Book of Faith is going to start getting some lawsuits and things because of what they did. Yeah. Trust me. Absolutely. I love you guys and appreciate your knowledge and passion. Question everything. Thanks, Scott. And have a great weekend. Listen, this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, is the most expensive weekend of the year. And let me help with that real quick. Is this is the weekend that we remember the people who gave their lives for our freedoms. That means that hot dog you are buying or grilling is bought with somebody's blood, right? That boat that you're filling up with gas is bought with somebody's blood here in America. And it's a wonderful time, but I want you to take some time. My request would be I want you to take some time to not just remember the people who are in our service and gave their life for freedom. But here's what I'm going to challenge you with: is take a look at the people in Buffalo in that grocery store, these small children who've given their life to hopefully somebody gets mad enough to make change. Okay. Those lives are ones we need to remember as well and understand that they gave their life hopefully so that something would change here. Right. In the great nation that we live in. And if you don't think so, then you're probably thinking incorrectly. But those are lives that were taken as they tried to live a free life. And obviously they haven't been able to, and they weren't able to. So as we take a look at what this weekend stands for, don't forget the people who have given their life to hopefully create change and make change so that we could live a better life.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Alex says, make sure you buy your couches and fireworks this weekend because that really means something to the people who gave their lives. Yeah. Make sure you get your brats, all that. Yeah, it's so true. hate commercializing that holiday as well. Thanks, Sal. Absolutely love you, brother. And here's the deal, folks. I can't thank you enough for tuning in to 21.6 and that, all your love and support. And this show is all about what we just talked about. There's a lot of tension out there. This is a place to come air it out. And we hope that at the end of it, our sincere hope is that you kind of, if you wear eyeglasses,
Right.
you don't know that they're dirty because you get used to looking through that lens
Right.
until somebody cleans it for you, and then you're like, holy shit, that was dirty.
That's what it's supposed to look
Right.
like.
So we're hoping that we clean your lens a little bit. And remember, to all of our listeners out there, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, bad shit happens outside of Chicago.
If you don't like the commercialized holiday, look at the Juneteenth plates.
Yeah, right. Oh, what just happened? All right, for all of us here at 26 Net, thanks for coming. Come back right here at 11 o'clock for